Welcome to Lizards Inc., a show where two lizard people learn more about human society as mystery surrounds their own. Today's topic, aura. Nalon and Xela stared at the city before them. The bright lights and swelling sounds overwhelmed their senses. Swindy Christen stood in front of them. The light of the city gave his figure a shining effect. He raised his arms to help present the city.
Welcome to Golden Road. This will be your new home.
It's actually a little underwhelming.
Huh?
Swindy's smile dropped. Nalon didn't speak. He kept looking at the city. He stared at the looming sunset. Xela shrugged and started walking.
I wouldn't say it's bad. It's pretty and bigger than anything I've seen, but I mean, it's just a city.
Well, surely it must be different from your lizard colonies.
Not really. Only difference is that your bugs are smaller than ours.
Oh, I'm such a fool. Clearly, we are less evolved. You will probably struggle with the more simplistic technology, yes?
I mean, yeah, we're a little more advanced than y'all, but if we do have any aspect of higher evolution, it's probably relegated to the military. By the way, where are you taking us?
Nalon finally snapped out of his trance. He looked around and hit Xela's shoulder.
Calm down. We are in a new place. Let's see the sights, have fun.
Last time I checked, we're on the run. We don't have time to relax and have fun. That should be a little lower on the priority list.
Don't worry. My home is the safest place in the city. Besides, wouldn't it be safer knowing the landscape better than a foe does, huh?
Swindy started leading the way. Nalon excitedly followed, badgering Swindy with questions. Xela looked around.
Feels like there's eyes on the walls here. What's this guy's angle? Are we still employing mind control? No, it can't be. We outlawed that back in 94.
So you're telling me you all don't train up giant bugs and hold mock monster battles?
Of course not. Most animal-related sports are outlawed due to moral issues, and then, of course, who could forget the whole Michael Vick thing, am I right? Anyway, we do have wrestling, though. It's guys dressed up in costumes who beat the crap out of each other.
Huh. That sounds lame. Anyway, food. What food is there around here to eat? I'm starving.
Dude, all sorts. There's a great Chinese place somewhere around here close by.
Swindy leads the two lizards throughout the city. He shows them the various shops and sites. Eventually, they are led down a dark alleyway. Xela looks around nervously.
Oh, there's that feeling again.
Xela feels staring eyes pierce through him. He grabs Nalon's shoulder and begins whispering.
Nalon, we need to turn back. What kind of nut takes people down a dark, dingy alley with good intentions? Nobody, that's who.
Don't sweat it. Remember, we have powers. We can fight our way out if necessary, man.
Nalon walks ahead and catches up with Swindy. Xela stays back.
Idiot.
The trio continues through the alley. They come across people on smoke breaks or talking. The people look rougher than the people they had seen earlier.
Jeez, I can't wait to get to that restaurant away from here.
Wait, you don't have these areas in your lizard colonies?
If we do, it's because the criminals have little ecosystems in their prisons. We're usually really good about keeping our streets clean, unlike you all.
Oh, that's probably because your leaders actually care about your people. Whereas cities like Golden Road are only shiny on the outside. But on the inside, there's muck and grime from abuse and neglect by those in power.
Honestly, we should have conquered you all. Probably would have fixed a lot of issues.
Would it, though? It's one thing for the higher-ups to ignore you. It's another thing to have everything done for you. I mean, where's the freedom in either system, I ask? What you don't realize is that these people do want better, but they're still happy. They're working hard, even if the system keeps them down.
So that's why you brought us here, to learn.
No. I would never have let you all set foot anywhere near a place as gross as this if the restaurant wasn't nearby. I love the people here, don't get me wrong, but the city does like zero cleaning.
Swindy stops in front of a building with red lights. A giant neon Chinese dragon sits on the awning. Swindy walks in with the lizards in tow.
What in the stereotype heck is this?
Best noodles in town's what that is.
The trio are seated and look at the menu. Swindy makes an order for everyone.
It smells so good in here. I am starving, Xela.
Well, yeah, I guess it does. You know what? This actually kind of reminds me of that place we used to go to for lunch.
Oh, yeah. There was some old bearded dragon, ran a great shop. He moved from a colony that handled Chinese propaganda, right?
Yeah, I remember we'd be starving after slaving over those computers all day. Hey, remember that time he yelled at us for eating too much?
He couldn't serve food for days.
Oh, I wonder how he's doing now.
A waiter comes out with plates of food. Nalon and Xela look in awe at the food in front of them. The two lizards took small bites from each plate, enjoying the new flavors. They each grabbed a crab rangoon. Their eyes widened as their taste buds exploded in newfound joy. It was as if Gog himself had kissed them. Their human forms beamed with joy as they hoarded the rangoons.
Big fan of rangoons, huh? Well, take them all. I don't mind. Not the biggest fan of them anyways, you know?
Watch your tongue, you filthy human.
How dare you insult the gift from Gog himself?
Okay, moving on then. Xela, you mentioned lizards only being a little advanced. Well, shouldn't you all have bustling utopias with flying cars by now?
Nope, we have much better tech, though, and a better society. Or so at least we thought. Which, I guess, even with the things we've discussed, we are really advanced. I will say, I've noticed the smaller things like human landfills, lack of nuclear power, and a general caution to new information.
Oh, for sure. I love this food. I can taste the red 40 in it, though.
I think as far as evolution of the common person goes, we've plateaued.
That's kind of how it is for us humans, too. You know, tech companies make billions off of releasing the same device every year or two. They justify it having higher specs, but the average person will never notice.
I don't like having to stare at that weird rectangular cube to look up stuff, though. I miss our little info discs and holograms.
You know, the issue is with us humans is that we could have what you all have, but they price the nicer lifestyle way too high, you know?
I will say the biggest difference is that humans have to have special machinery, like massive cranes and specialized vehicles like tractors to perform tasks that a basic exosuit can complete in like one sitting.
Plus, we use the superior biometric lock system instead of a simple key and lock.
So wait, what you're saying is that it's either struggle to afford luxury but keep individual freedom, or have luxury and sacrifice that individual freedom?
Nope. I admit, we were blinded to how restricting our lives really were. But you're all even bigger slaves to the system. Only difference between the two of us is we actually received fair compensation for being taken advantage of.
Okay. But then again, how do you all manage the energy waste then? I know you all are nuclear. There must be an issue with that.
It's simple. We prioritize the safety of our reactors. One thing our government does, unlike yours, is that it knows it needs us common folk to survive. We've heard the horror stories of how stressful a reactor worker can be. I mean, it's pretty much either you do your job or you die.
That's true.
It also helps that we stopped using weapons that were so energy draining. Nowadays, most weapons can generate their own power. Years ago, though, we actually faced an energy crisis because of how much energy the brainwasher used up after the rebellion.
Nalon paused as silverware hit the table. He looked up as Swindy's eyes rolled into the back of his head. The human slammed his face into the table, knocking food everywhere as he screamed psychotically. Nalon and Xela grabbed Swindy and dragged him out of the restaurant. They ran through the alleyway and through the streets, trying to shut him up. They entered a sparsely populated park and ran towards the fountain. Xela grabbed Swindy's head and shoved it into the fountain water. Xela kept shoving Swindy under the water until he finally stopped.
Was the violent imagery necessary?
I'm more embarrassed than you are right now, trust me.
Swindy sat up, still catching his breath.
I gotta hit the restroom. I'll be right back.
Don't worry, this isn't as violent as he can get.
Nalon patted Swindy's back.
I can't tell if you really aren't an advanced race or if you're just punking me, man.
You can at least confirm we are real since you saw us transform earlier.
You mentioned aura earlier. Please tell me you know how to see it.
I know what it is, but they don't teach us that stuff. Just like with the disguise, it's as if they erased our ability to instinctually learn lizard nature.
Hold on, but clearly you should be able to learn.
Maybe? I'm not certain, though. I'm not that talented. Xela probably could. He's a natural, that guy.
What's that mean, though?
It means I ain't worth a lick. Only reason I'm helpful now is because Xela doesn't know as much. Once he does, I'll have a lot of catching up to do. Maybe too much. You should have seen him during our big fight. It took me months to figure out how to even feel my ability, let alone summon the dang thing. For him, though, it was like he had done this before. The only thing I did for him was tell him they exist. Even our enemies like them more.
It just means you can't slow down then. Simple as that, right?
But what if I'm not fast enough to keep up?
Then you find a way to make yourself useful that no one else can fulfill. There's no excuse to feel useless. The only right option is to evaluate a new path, man.
You're right. Maybe I'm some sort of aura expert, and that's how I'll be useful.
Maybe.
Swindy stands triumphantly, arms folded.
Well, then are you ready to follow the steps of an aura master such as myself? This path will not be easy, I warn you. You'll have to be one with your senses and heart.
Sir, yes, sir.
Xela stepped out of the restroom with a disgruntled look.
Why are their public toilets so disgusting?
Xela looked over to see Nalon and Swindy randomly staring at people walking by. They scrunched up their faces as if trying to stare through others. Xela walked over to confront the weirdos. He noticed Nalon's face had partially transformed, showing his lizard eyes and scales in the surrounding facial region. Xela swiftly punched Nalon into the fountain.
For a day with no fighting, you have been quite violent.
I'm not the one revealing myself to others and looking like a creep. What are you bozos?
Hold on. We can continue this later. It's almost midnight and you two clearly need to get some sleep.
The two lizards follow Swindy. He leads them out of the park and through more of the city. They reach an empty part of town. Buildings with boarded up windows line the street. Anyone they do pass by is moving with urgency. The trio walks down an alleyway. Unlike the last few, this one was barren. No lively graffiti to bring a sense of life. Not even a piece of trash existed to signify human presence. Swindy opened the door to a rundown apartment complex. Xela and Nalon stood on edge as Swindy felt along the wall. A secret button was pushed in, revealing a hidden door in the wall.
This feels way too spy-esque to be owned by a crazy guy.
You're right. It's owned by multiple crazy guys.
Swindy leads them down a set of stairs. The room immediately opens up, revealing an underground bunker. There's around 20 people walking around. Some are conversing and having fun. Others are looking through boxes and writing in notebooks.
I did not expect this level of competency.
An average-looking man walks up to them. His features are incredibly average. His looks, average. His hair, average. His walk, average. He has no defining features out of a hopeful smile that turns into a scowl as he grabs Swindy by the ear.
Where have you been all day, boss? Do you know how stressful it is to keep order around here when the head honcho was MIA?
In my defense, I was aiming for a short, brisk walk, but I found arguably the greatest answer to every question we have asked.
Wait, he wasn't joking when he said he was in charge.
This guy's actually good at being responsible for the lives of others.
It helps that he piles the work onto— Wait a minute, intruders!
Suddenly, the residents all gather around with all sorts of makeshift weapons from chairs to pipes. Swindy stood between the crowd and the lizards.
Settle down. This is the great discovery I was talking about. These two fellas are not your ordinary men. They hold the key to every secret hidden from us in our quest to uncover the truths that the vile elites of this world have kept from us for so long. Go ahead, show them, boys. It's safe.
The two lizards nodded at each other. They squinted and scrunched as they reverted to their old selves. The crowd watched in horror as the lizards writhed, twisted on the ground. The process was as painful as it was the first time. Gasps filled the room as the two lizards stood in their natural forms. Murmurs filled the room as the residents of the bunker stared at the creatures.
Sweet baby Jesus.
This is Nalon and Xela, citizens of the ancient lizard society that has controlled humanity from the shadows. They are here to help us open the eyes of those unwilling to see the light of truth that we offer.
Nalon and Xela's minds wandered off as Swindy spoke to the crowd. Eventually, they all resumed their tasks from earlier.
Well, I forgot to introduce you all properly. This is Mike, my top follower and my protege.
Nice to meet you all. I apologize for earlier.
I need to go make sure we have space for them. Mike, can you show them around?
I was on my...
Mike couldn't get a word in as Swindy ran off to another part of the bunker. Mike held his head low, but proudly showed the lizards around. Nalon and Xela saw various storage rooms and bunkhouses. There was a group of residents playing checkers in the comfy-looking hangout space.
Over this way, we have our food space. Oh, perfect timing. Lucy and Jade are here.
In front of them were a man and a woman. The woman was blonde. Her smile matched her warm, rosy red cheeks. She wore what looked like office wear. Next to her was a towering man. He had long dark hair. He wore sweatpants and a hoodie. Lucy nodded at them and continued on with their work. The man glared at the lizards. Why are we keeping them here?
I know just as much as you do.
Still, if we have to hide from them, then they're clearly dangerous.
Please, be friendly and trust Swindy.
I don't trust the psycho one bit. But if you think they're safe, then fine. Mike hurried the lizards out and led them to their bunk space. It was a fancy room. 2 beds, a computer, even a mini fridge. A lamp rested in the corner.
It isn't much, but it'll do. Swindy sent me a text saying the computer can help you all learn more about humans so you can blend in more.
This looks really fancy. A little too fancy.
Don't think about it too hard. We all help each other out to make sure life isn't too tough. I'm sorry about Jude earlier. He actually isn't big on this group. Me and him are old buds, and he just wanted to keep me safe. Anyways, I'll let you two get settled for the night. See you around.
Mike closed the door on his way out. Nalon ran towards the computer and started typing. Xela sat on a bed, exhaustion catching up with him.
I gotta know, what were you two doing at the park earlier? You were about to blow your cover.
Nalon didn't speak. He focused intently on the computer. Xela looked over Nalon's shoulder at the screen.
You guys said you would tell me this, but what's aura? You all were talking about it when we first met Swindy.
Huh? Oh, it's the life energy of all living things. You can detect species, emotions, even how much life someone has left in them.
So why are you curious then? You know all about this.
Earlier, I detected about 30 people in this compound. 35 when you count the ones we found that didn't join with the crowd earlier, like Lucy and Jude. It seems this bunker's designed to block any attempts at detecting aura through walls. Think like lead and x-rays.
How can you even detect it?
Swindy showed me. I also figured out how to use it even in my disguise.
So what are you getting at?
Well, firstly, we're safe to walk around in our normal forms. We can't be detected by outside sources. Secondly, we need to be cautious when we are out and about. You never know what ways our government can control that sort of energy. Until then, let's try to have fun.
In an undisclosed location in Scaliopolis, military officers wander around the room looking at computers and information. In the center sits a short, tiny lizard. It looks like someone left their child.
Sir, no update after the energy source disappeared.
I knew those two would be difficult. Prepare the convert strike force immediately.